it. Made a couple racks, I never asked how she did it. City girls out to have fun.
Welcome to Connect with Christina, episode 18, season 2, and to my right. We're reversing roles today. Everyone knows this guy, Matty Ice of Matthew Ryan, the Matty Ice show.
There you go.
Actually finally here.
I know. I don't do many podcasts at all. People ask me, and I definitely got to do yours. So.
Well, I appreciate it. So this is very special. I'll let him tell you, but I got to also share. This guy really, really puts his arms around local artists or artists everywhere that have not made a name for themselves yet. You know, you really do. You help these people out and give them a voice.
For sure.
So I want to know how this podcast even started and how you decided to start interviewing all these artists.
So I was about 2.5 years ago. I wanted to start a podcast, a platform. One thing about me, like when I start something, I really go all in with it. My branding, I put my whole heart into it. So I knew when I went into it that I had to put my whole heart into this to become successful, and I know what my goals were. I originally started off the first few episodes interviewing athletes. So I had Christian Kirk on my show, who just got signed by the Jaguars. I had Byron Murphy on my show, a couple Arizona Cardinal players, stuff like that. I interviewed Antonio Brown earlier on, just athletes, Mm-hmm. But my passion was always in music and artists and hip-hop and rap.
And why is that? Like, were you an artist yourself?
I used to throw hip-hop concerts. Never been an artist. I've always loved hip-hop and rap music and the scene and the industry of it all and everything that has to come with it. And I said, you know what? My passion really lays within the artists, within the music, and to be real with you, I hate interviewing athletes. I get nothing out of it, and they really get nothing out of it. So I was like, you know what? One, I want to make a business out of this too. And I thought the best way I can do all of that combined was to go ahead and do the artist route, the producer's route, that route. So I went ahead and did that. I was signed to Bang Energy when I first started the Matty Ice show about 2.5 years ago. And I thought that Bang Energy wasn't the right fit for me. So I went ahead and linked up with Rick Ross. And that was about almost 2 years ago. And since then, I linked up with his company, Bel Air. And ever since then, it kind of just really took off. And I've had, I think my 205th interview on YouTube just dropped. So we got 205 on YouTube right now.
That's a lot.
So that's where we're at right now.
Do you still remember your very first interview?
On
the artist side.
My very first interview on the artist side was probably B. Howard.
Really?
That was my first interview on the artist side.
He's got a new song out right now that I love. It's called Champion.
Okay, yeah.
I am obsessed with that song.
Yeah, I think he dropped that during the pandemic with some guy named Vanessa Wu, I think. Good song, and he was my first interview that I had for like artists and music and stuff like that.
Were you nervous?
To be honest with you, we went for almost like an hour. I was a little bit nervous, yes, because also Brandon's story is pretty deep. So I had to, make sure I was navigating the right questions and making sure he was comfortable. So yeah, I was a little bit nervous specifically for that interview too.
Has he been on the show since?
We've talked about coming back on. I've talked to him through Instagram and stuff like that. I've talked to him, on the phone here and there, but it will happen eventually.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're calling you out.
There you go.
You're scheduling with this guy. Recently, I saw you interviewed some of our local. Well, a lot of them are local, but I noticed you're traveling so much and like interviewing in different states. Like, how does that come about?
So I like to do Vegas interviews. Okay. What I'll do is I will post my flyer up in Vegas and let artists know that I'm interviewing out there. I'm pretty well known here in Vegas. Pretty much all the artists know me. So I'll do a Vegas run like 3 times a year. I'll do it out of a hotel room. I'll bring my team with me. Aesthetically, it looks great. And I'll interview maybe 10 different artists out in Vegas while I'm out there. So I'm also networking with them. And then also after I do these interviews, you got to remember that they're sharing it and they're showing it to their fan base. And then their fan base will reach out to me in return.
Right. And is there any other state you're doing this at too? California?
I've done some interviews in California. So I just interviewed Samara Sin out in California, who's one of my favorite artists, period. I interviewed Noza Jordan, who signed a Little Dirk's label, OTF, in California. So I have a studio that I use out of there, Pink Cloud Studios. I do some interviews out of LA, but mainly my studio's in Arizona. But I also did the Boozy Bash, where I was able to handle all the stage interviews for Little Baby, DaBaby. Who else was there? Mooski was there. Coil Ray, HD for President, Young Blue. So I also traveled to Louisiana and did that as well. So it's been I'm willing to travel for sure.
Yeah, you're like nonstop. That's awesome. Well, like you talked about Samara, she's great. I mean, you know, at one of the whiteout parties I had, we had let her perform. I think it was like, we'll just leave out when.
For sure.
Pandemic, just kidding. Anyway, but she did great. And the moment I saw her, I'm like, she's going all the way.
Yeah, you know? Samara is somebody that I've been locked in with since I've started this platform. Well, maybe ever since our first interview. She had the performance of the year. She won the performance of the year on my show last year. And keep in mind, I've had a lot of good artists on my show. But the one thing about Samara that's different is she knows how to handle herself. She's very professional. Her music is awesome. She works her ass off. She's a great person. She's somebody that I truly believe in. That will be, if there's a few people here, she's definitely that person.
Yeah, and the city is behind you.
Definitely.
RJ, he's also really good. I saw him on your show too.
Shout out RJ Soul. RJ Soul came. He dropped a freestyle on my show over like a Rick Ross beat. Another good person, another great artist, somebody that I think highly of for sure.
So you just mentioned the Matty Ice show. What do you mean, like as far as like awards? What does that entail?
As far as what do you mean?
You said Samara won an award.
Yeah, so she starting last year was my first full year where I had a bunch of artists on my show. I dropped a top 10 list of all the artists that performed or freestyle on my show, and Samara was number one. She had the top spot. She was number one.
I see. So I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yes.
So you do that every single year?
I'm going to do that every single year. Yep, they're going to be and she dropped another freestyle this year on my show, which is right now between her and Lex Bratcher. All these girls are coming and crushing my show. So Lex Bratcher just did my show. If you don't know who Lex is, she's blowing up right now. She has some songs on Merkham's new project, and Lex just dropped a freestyle on my page. Rick Ross commented it with a bunch of fire emojis. Everybody was hitting me up from it. So it's a great way for artists to come on, and I'll make sure they get seen.
Yeah, and we'll put all their handles on here too. But I want to know, like, what do you get out of this? Like, I feel like you're so passionate about it.
So one, I let everybody know that the first thing is I'm 100% passionate about it. That's right. This is my life. So A100, I did 205 interviews in a matter of less than 2 years, and I'm extremely passionate about it. I have to be. I love music. I want to break an artist. I want to put them in the right place and in the right spotlight. What exactly?
Yeah, so like what, other than being able to give this platform, like what other benefits do you see that
that I get out of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so one, I charge
on both ways, like for the artist and for yourself.
For sure. So a lot of artists hit me up. I get over 50 to 100 DMs a week of artists all over the country. So mainly the artists that are also interviewing with me. I've interviewed everybody in Arizona, pretty much. I mean, there might be a couple people I haven't, but I've interviewed everybody in Arizona. Artists, majority, 75% of my platform are flying all over the country. They're flying in. We schedule an interview. They're flying in to interview. So that's one thing. Mainly what I think I'm getting out of this too is this is a business to me. So I'm not doing this for charity. I'm not, excuse me for my language, I'm nobody's bitch. When people DM me and they expect me to interview them or they come at me incorrect, I'll just unfollow them or block them even. When you come to me, you got to realize that you're going to get a lot out of it. You're going to get some content out of it. You're going to get a performance video. You're going to get a freestyle video. You're going to get the YouTube video, iTunes, Spotify, engineering. We do it under the LED lights in there. You get a promo flyer. Everything comes like really, really professional.
That's a lot.
You get a lot with it.
Yeah.
And then also I have major record labels that are following me. I have major people inside the hip-hop community and music community that are following me, that engage in all my stuff. People see that. There's no bullshit behind it. People see it. It's every day. I post every fucking day. So I'm very consistent on that end of it all. But I charge to get on my show. This is a business for me.
Right.
This is my livelihood. I'm not doing this for anything else besides I'm passionate about it, and then I put a lot of money into it. I have a studio just like you do.
Right.
I pay a hefty monthly rent every month to pay my studio, my equipment, my time, my engineers, my graphic designers. Like I go all in with this. This isn't like a regular podcast. You're just gonna walk into a back,
Right.
and start something like that. So
Yeah.
it's like professional like this.
Right. Well, and it's like I said before, I think it's awesome. So you have, different businesses around, right? Even your lawyers and your doctors, and in the hip hop space, I feel like you really do add value.
So my goal, and I say this a lot, my goal is to be the #1 hip hop platform in the country, to break artists. Not only do I interview independent artists, but I just had Fatboy SSE on my show. He just came here. I'm very close with him. He just performed on my show his new song, Waste Time. So I'm also dealing with bigger artists too. I had, a lot of OTF artists on my show. I've interviewed Little Boozy. So I'm not just dealing with independent artists. I'm dealing with the biggest of the biggest too. I'm trying to get Lil Durk on my show right now. I'm gonna have Rick Ross on my show one day. So I'm dealing with bigger people, but also independent artists too.
Right. Well, which I think that's the beauty of it, is that, you help people across the board. Like, it doesn't matter if they're already, popular or whatever. I feel like being on your show really puts a lot of light on them.
For sure, and don't get me wrong, they help me too. Like Samara, and I'm not charging everybody. If I invite you on, I invite you on. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But if you're gonna hit me up in the DM and I have no idea who you are, you're an uninvited guest, and I'm gonna give you the business details, right? But if I invite people on, for instance, I invited Samara on every time, obviously, but she has given me content to where I can put out too to help my platform. So it does work both ways. It's not
Right.
just like she's helping me too, believe it or not.
Right.
So
No, I get that. And I think that's the best way, because it's like a partnership or whatever. So, not to put you on the spot.
It's okay.
But who would you say your I guess like top 3 best interviews out of all that 205? Maybe I should give you 5. And you can't get mad because I'm putting him on the spot and he has to pick.
So like interviews with the performance and everything
Yeah.
in it. Okay. Well, I gotta say Samara Sin with her first. So we always go back and forth this, but with her first, with her first freestyle on my show, it was just shocking. It was unbelievable. If you haven't watched it, it was 4 minutes long.
I saw that. We were sharing it.
She went crazy.
Yeah.
So definitely Samara's just
So much
just because
talent.
I didn't know what I was gonna get with that. It was my first time ever meeting her, and I was just shocked. And she talked her shit at the end. She's like, "You're playing with you're playing with the boys now." Like, she went crazy. So Samara definitely was one. Little Boozy by far. I went to Ethica and interviewed Boozy Badass at Ethica Music headquarters. That was a day that I'll never forget. Just because it was like I felt like my first time where I really walked through the industry, and it was like, okay, I paid my dues now, and I'm starting to get some bigger artists. So that was a great interview. So definitely Samara, Boosie. I had a really good interview with this guy Lazarus. He's actually a doctor, but he's an artist too.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, he's a doctor in Las Vegas. He was on the front lines during the pandemic. He has a huge following. His name is Lazarus. So that was
we have to follow that guy.
he's a real doctor on the front lines in the hospitals, and then goes right to the studio after. It was a great interview. So I would say him unexpectedly too. That was in Vegas. Let's see, who else have we had great interviews with? I just had Polo Gibson on my show, a photographer here in Arizona. I'm in industry. That was a really cool interview.
There's a lot I know.
I mean, I've interviewed. Yeah, there's been so many good ones,
Yeah.
but I'd say like Boozy, Samara, or like Lazarus. Those are ones that I really enjoyed for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to share those. We'll find it on your feed and share them.
Most definitely.
How about like an artist that you interviewed in the beginning, where they're starting out and then they're finally like making it now?
An artist that I kind of started off to see their growth, I would
Right.
say.
Yeah.
A good example, I would say, like somebody like Kyrie here in Arizona, the real Kyrie. He's grown a lot here in Arizona. He dropped a project After Dark that went really, really well. Samara, obviously. I'm trying to think who really knows a Jordan, somebody that's gonna blow up. He signed to OTF, to Dirk's label. I would say definitely those two.
So, you obviously get so much information like from all these artists, and like everyone has a story, right? And that's why you're here, why everyone comes on here. Everyone has a story. Matty, with being around all these artists and you hear, their stories and things like that, like to all the other artists out there that's trying to make it, like what advice could you offer them?
So just literally, I know you guys hear this all the time, just be yourself and don't try to do something that's not you. And be about your music. Don't go out there. And one thing I would say, if you're an artist and you have talent, don't sit in the clubs in the weekend. Sit in the studio. do that. You know what I'm saying? And work with the right people, network with the right people. That's the main thing. It's all about who you're brushing hands with, and meeting the wrong people can fuck up your whole situation. And then stay humble. If you have the talent, be easy to work with, because a lot of times in this industry, we have people that are really talented and really gifted, but they're just assholes. And at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to work with those types of people. So be yourself, stay humble, and put all the work in, and hopefully you'll meet the right person, or you'll crack yourself.
And yeah, we want to give you like courage or encouragement. There's so many people that are talented, but maybe whatever is holding them back, whether the family doesn't expect them to get into hip hop, or you're supposed to be like a doctor, like your artist. What's his name?
Lazarus.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet this guy.
He's great.
How awesome. How many people out there are like that?
You should have him on the show. He'd definitely do it.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you there's so many other people that, maybe more doctors or lawyers that actually are artists inside. So if you are one of those people, step out, like share your talent. That's like a gift.
Definitely.
So the flip side of my question is, what are some of the struggles or BS that they should be prepared to deal with when they step into this industry?
A lot of people aren't going to be genuine with you or have your best interest. Everybody's trying to come up on you, or try to use you for who you know, or use you for your connections. So I think that's a major thing, is people not being necessarily genuine in the industry. They always want something from you. So I think really what you can do is just be street smart. And like I said, keep a tight circle, especially for these artists. You got to keep a tight circle. This is it's very hard for an artist to break, and crack. We see it here in Arizona. We have so much talent here, but we're waiting for that person to really crack. And, me being from Illinois, I think I've seen a big city, so I understand like the work ethic and what people put in to get big and to blow up. But I think as far as getting back to like the struggle side of it all, mainly just keep your circle really tight. That's the best advice I can give.
Be careful.
And don't hang around people that want something from you, because everybody wants something in this industry, especially if you got something that is a little bit bigger than what they have. They're going to want to get to that. And that's what I've noticed, too, even in my own space and my own friends and stuff like that. This has been definitely a year of challenges for me. Where last year I feel like everything was a breeze for me. This year has been a whole year of nightmares and challenges for me. But I've been able to push through. I've already had like probably 50 to 60. I'd have 50 interviews already this year, I'd have to say. But in this year has been very difficult on my mental. I've had a lot of stuff personally that I'm dealing with, and then a lot of stuff that's happened within my politics that are going on inside what I'm doing.
Right.
I deal with artists that are affiliated, and I have to be careful in a lot of different ways. So I just I try to stay to myself. I don't go out. You will never see me in a club out here for a lot of reasons, ever.
Yeah. Why is that?
You will not see Matty Ice in the clubs. You just won't see me out there. Unless I'm hosting an event coming up, but it's not even that I have to get paid to go to the club, because I'm necessarily not anybody, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like if I go out, I'm losing value in myself, and also I'm kowtowing to everybody else out there. So I don't like to show my face around. I don't want people to think we're cool. If we're cool, you're going to see me, you're going to know, we're going to talk. But I want it to be genuine. I'm not on that rah-rah bullshit
Right.
where I'm not trying to impress anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to go to the club and pop bottles and meet people. No, that's not who I am.
Right.
I'm a homebody to the max. Straight up.
My middle baby is a homebody, and my oldest is like
It's way too easy.
butterfly.
It's easy for me. I can roll up my chronic. I'm at the crib. I don't need to worry about drinking and driving. And I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing my thing, and I'm preparing for my interviews, stuff like that. But this year has definitely been a year of challenges for me in a lot of ways. Even within my team, within my platform, just things that, parting ways in some ways. One cool thing is I was nominated, or I won the podcast of the year last year with Arizona Trending. That was really cool.
Congratulations.
So shout out Matt Mills for that. That was great. I felt like they picked the right person. I will say this. Last year, I had zero competition in the podcast game in Arizona, and I mean zero. Literally, I fucking owned it. And I can say that with a passion. Now, this year, there's been a lot of platforms that have started, including yours has really been picking up. Jack O'Hara is another one that I've been watching his stuff. I really like how he interviews. I don't know him, but I like how he puts his content out there, and I like how he interviews a lot. So he's somebody I'm watching right now. And then we have a couple I call Walmart podcasts out here that are just trash. I'm not going to name their names, but they're just trash. So how you're doing it is right. How Jack O'Hara is doing it is right. I'm trying to think who else out here has a good podcast out here. I don't really know.
Well, we have to meet. What did you say, Jack O'Hara?
Jack O'Hara, I don't know him at all.
Well, congratulations to you too.
For sure. I've been seeing his stuff on Instagram. We follow each other. He's interviewed a few people that I've interviewed, most recently Mario Cannon. He interviewed him, and I just like how first of all, I think he's a good interviewer, and I like how he goes about his platform.
Well, I will say that the right person definitely won. So congratulations.
It's going to be, I got to worry about you now. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up, too.
No, you'll take the cake every
Not
time.
even. To be real with you, I only say that I knew I was going to win because I had zero. There was just nobody that even worked. Like, they didn't do anything last year. It was just dead.
Mm-hmm.
I can't name one platform that really worked last year. This year, even I got to shout out Zero Cloud Pod Malcolm. He's been doing his thing. So there's a few platforms out here now that I'm in competition with, right? The 401 show. There's a few out there, but really, in reality, the way me and you are doing it, like you just said, you just cranked out 4 interviews. You can do 4 in a day. That's how I roll. You know what I'm saying? That's what the best of the best do.
Just bring different outfits.
There you go. Me, I'm a black T-shirt guy. I bring different hats. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what it takes.
Well, I want to tell you that last year when we did season 1, like, I don't know if you noticed, like, I'll post your podcast, I'll share Nick, Side of Mayo.
He's somebody that he's not doing anything,
Yeah.
all right, but Nick's a great guy.
Right. Yes, definitely. But I had a hard time sharing my own. But, this year I decided it's not about me. It's about my guests and the great people that, share their time here. So that's what made it okay for me to go, hey, follow me, So I'm still like adjusting to that because it's a lot harder when it's for you. Does that make sense?
For sure.
So I'm wearing, if you didn't notice, because you were coming on the show, this
Forever
is
Young.
our boy Jay Young, MDK, out of Atlanta.
Nice.
So talk about, other than being talented, I saw him in Atlanta work his butt off. I mean, stopping cars in the middle to give out his flyers, super humble, just really was like hustling and grinding nonstop. And we were only there 4 days. So those are the people I want to see succeed too.
Most definitely. Anybody that's serious about their craft, serious about their work, and actually putting it in and not bullshitting, I want to see them succeed. And I don't care even if it's somebody that's doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. If you're really about it, bro, then we're gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Then,
Right.
but otherwise, I'm not dealing with people that are on some bullshit. Like,
Well, and that's the thing too. I don't know if you notice the differences of people. Like, all walks of life, lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs, influencers, podcast people. I don't care if you're a good person and you're adding value to this community. You're coming on.
Most definitely.
So I watched the Joe Coy show last night, and he had expressed something that I wanted to share. He just said, before you hate on people that you think are making it, or they are making it, and you're starting to hate on them, don't do that, because you don't realize the hard work, the blood, the tears, the sweat that goes into that. Like,
For sure.
For him, I guess he had been doing stand-up for 35 years. I didn't know that. That Netflix turned him down 8 times before he finally got the first one. And he had to do the first one on his own, with his own money, risking everything. And then he gave it to them, and then they're like, okay, that's it. And now he's on his 4th, So, yeah, I mean, I think that's just a general message, like, support other people, and, it'll come back to you too. You'll make it too.
Definitely.
So let everyone know how to get a hold of you, please.
So you can get my YouTube channel at the Matty Ice Show. I'm on Instagram at Matty Ice Show. You can get my studio at MattyIceStudios.com. And what else?
And you'll never see him in the clubs.
You will never see me in the clubs. I definitely got to thank Ethica Music for all their support in Ethica. They've been incredible to me. I got to thank my family over at MMG, Rick Ross. He's been the catalyst to my platform. The most supportive person I can say, and the most genuine, is him. Since I've been tied in with him, it's been complete Just loyalty to my platform. I've been loyal to him and everything he does, and every time I see him, it's always love. I was just with him maybe a week ago in Dre's in Vegas, and popped a bunch of Bel Air bottles. So I definitely got to say I owe a ton to Rick Ross and the MMG family, Jeter K, Devin Irby over at Ethica Music. So definitely those are some people that I'm very in tune with, and you guys can find me at the Matty Ice Show. You guys already know this. If you're an artist trying to interview, hit me. I want to work with you guys and see what happens.
So you will find him at the clubs in Vegas.
If Rick Ross is performing in the club, you're going to see me there. That'll be the only way I'm going out.
And I know we're almost to our time, but any studios out here, hip hop or whatever, studios or resources that you know of that would help other artists?
For sure. So it's a great question. I have my podcast studio right now, Matty Ice Studios. Other podcasts can rent out my studio and use it. I have a few podcasts that are doing that right now. So you guys can use my studio, MattyIceStudios.com, but it is not a music studio. So I have a lot of people that hit me up and they say, yo, Matty, can I use your studio for music? Unfortunately, it's not a music studio yet. So that's something that's in the works where I might wind up venturing out and doing a music studio, podcast studio, photography, all that stuff. But one place I would 100% recommend where actually I just sent Fatboy SSE to is Salt Mine Studios. And Zach Salter, who, in the industry, he does very good things. And Salt Mine Studios is a very, it's a great place to go to if you're an artist. They had Kodak.
It's a hidden gem in Mesa, Arizona.
There you go. Hidden gem in Mesa. Zach took great care of Fatboy when he was just there. So go to Salt Mine. Great place. It's been here forever. Lil Wayne recorded the Carter out over there. Lollipop. Kodak Black's been in there recently. They have the best of the best there. So I would go there.
Yeah, we're trying to get Don to come on here.
There you go.
So, calling you out.
There you go. You got to, because he's somebody that's very important here in the Valley.
Yeah. Well, Matty, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for making time. And I always want to say Matthew Ryan, but you're Matty.
There you go.
Matty Ice Show.
Matty Ice Show. And I want to say thank you for having me. I really do think your platforms, I love your setup. You're great at what you do, and everybody in Arizona respects you. You know everybody. So I think you're going to be somebody that I'm going to be really nervous about when the Arizona Trending Show is coming on next year, and I hear both of us are right there. I'm not going to be so confident. But.
No, I'm just going to tell Don, look, when he wins, I want to give him his trophy this year. That's it.
A100 with you, though, I think there's a lot of good platforms that are out here right now, and I'm happy to see it because last year was just a little bit dead zone.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you would think everybody would be podcasting during a pandemic and stuff like that. But I'm happy to see platforms like this. People have asked me to come on their show, and a lot of times I'm not doing it. But I know with you it's genuine and it's quality. So
well, and I want to add to that. I think the biggest value for me is that there was a time in my life when I would care what someone might think. Now the only time I care about that is that I want to make sure I'm doing right by someone. You know, the rest of it I don't care. You watch, you don't watch. But anyone watching, the thing I train them on is don't come on my show to judge because you can just, you know what I mean? It's not the right place for that because I really try to embody the fact that we rise by lifting others. I don't care what industry that is. Be a good person, help somebody else out,
Definitely.
So, all right. Thank you for coming to Connect with Christina, a.k.a.
The Cloud God.
Hey.
Let's go.
That's how she get it. Made a couple racks, I never asked how she did it. City girls out to have fun.